everybody.
If you're unfamiliar, every Tuesday we go live. Tom Merritt and I covering the beat of how to watch what you want, when you want, on whatever device you please. Only today it's on a Monday because Japan. I think that makes sense, right, Tom?
Yep. We're all in Japan.
Oh, well, I mean.
And obviously, because Japan is on the other side of the date line, we're doing the show a day early.
Oh, that's right.
Actually, that would be
what
true.
We should have come in with is that we're worried about the time going backwards.
It's Tuesday in Japan.
Yeah, doggone it. We missed it.
No, I am leaving for Japan tomorrow morning. So that is why I did this morning's Daily Tech News show with sunglasses and no lights.
Oh, did you really?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, my God. That's amazing. Awesome. Okie dokie. Well, we got Ryan in Minnesota. We got BioCow. We got G. James B.
Yay!
We got, or I said Minneapolis.
I can confirm it is 7 a.m. on Tuesday in Japan. So we're still
so we stuck to Tuesday. That worked out great.
Yeah, we're just early, a little early. But
awesome.
Yeah. And by the way, if you are someone who looks at television these days and shakes their head and say, why is it so stupidly complicated? You're in the right place. That's what we do. We explain why.
That's right.
we try to make it simpler where we can, but if nothing else, we explain why.
Okay. Are we ready to begin the program?
I am ready, Kat.
All right.
I do have a buried treasure in there, but if we're going long or whatever else, don't worry about it.
Awesome. Okay, let me set this up, and then I'm pretty sure this will work. I'm going to hit record, and then we'll begin.
Welcome to Cordkillers. The world of entertainment is turned upside down, and we are just trying to figure out how do we watch what we want, where we want, whenever we want. I'm Tom Merritt. Where's the good stuff, Brian?
Oh my gosh, it's in the future tomorrow, which is the normal time that we record. But because you're crossing the international date line when you go to Japan, just to be safe, we recorded the show a day earlier.
Yeah, it is Tuesday in Japan. Tomorrow, I will be in Japan. I am not in Japan now, so it's Monday where I am, but it's Tuesday in Japan, and tomorrow I will be in Japan on Wednesday.
I know this one. You end up becoming your own grandfather. I've seen this episode of Star Trek.
That's why I've never met my grandpa. He died in the 50s because of my time travel.
Kind of mysterious.
Yep. Well, Brian, in the meantime, let's talk about the hottest new trend in television in the supply run.
Supply run.
Micro dramas. They're tiny little dramas. They're not the same size as regular dramas, but they're hot. They are small, snackable stories with endings that make you want the next one. They always end not exactly on a cliffhanger, although often, but on something that's like, ooh, I gotta find out. Is he his own grandfather? Honestly, Quibi is really jealous that this is working. Viewership on micro dramas up 28 times over the last 2 years. Owl and Company studied the activity on the My Drama and My Muse apps, two of the hotter microdrama apps, to see who's doing this, who's watching, what kinds of microdramas, because there's some stereotypes out there. And one of them is true. Romance is the most popular style of microdrama. 76% of females are viewing romance and 54% of males are viewing romance. 64.5% watch traditional drama. 54% watch comedy. That's kind of the typical stuff, maybe extra weight on romance. Peak microdrama viewing is Sunday between 8 and 10 p.m. When you got nothing else, you're like, I'm just biding time till Monday. 30.3% of all microdrama viewers are male, so it's still heavily female, but not as much as it used to be, and the male audience is growing fast. The audiences aged 22 to 27 nearly tripled their share of viewing over the past 5 quarters, now making up around 1/4 of overall viewers. So the viewing is skewing young. among the heaviest users, there's a little, there is little prejudice, aka almost no prejudice against AI content. They don't care if it's got real actors. It's a micro drama. Estimated to be about $4 billion in business right now outside of China. In China, it's already worth $15 billion. At least it was in 2025. And it doesn't seem to be taking away from traditional TV viewing. People are doing it at times when they don't normally watch other TV. 70% do it right before they go to bed, 59% during a meal, 35% on a work break, 22% on the toilet. That's the 22% who admitted when they do it. Brian, microdramas, man. We kind of mentioned them here and there, but they're the thing these days.
Tom, I want you to know that I hope that you never question my commitment to Cordkillers, because today I went deep undercover and investigated microdramas by watching My Billionaire Husband Has Two Faces. The Citizen Kane of microdramas.
How was it?
Okay, so I only made it four Quibbies in. First of all, can we address the Quibi in the room that somehow Quibi was exactly right? That somehow we would miss high quality, talented Hollywood producers, writers, excellent cinematography and all that stuff? Can we admit that we were wrong to laugh at them for getting incredibly large safe frames so that content could be viewed both in portrait and landscape mode? Can we admit that we were wrong for mocking Quibi to keeping to an extremely short format in episodic content? And can we admit that they were wrong, or that we were wrong, because Quibi had the right number of zeros in their head when it comes to the budgets for these things?
Yeah. If Quibi was wrong about anything, it was that they didn't need to be that high quality.
Yes.
They didn't really have to spend that much on it. But that's being wrong in the right direction, I guess, if you can get $4 billion of business out of this thing. They were talking about wrong place, right or right thing, wrong time.
We like to call this the Cordkillers move, where you're right, but way early.
But
like
incredibly
a decade early. That was the problem.
If anything, Quibi should have just stuck it out. They would have been fine. Oh my gosh. Yeah. I think you could blame COVID for killing Quibi. I think that really just threw a wrench into everything. And just changed everything. And you could argue no, it should have worked even better. People had more time, but people weren't spending time. They weren't I need something to distract me before I go to sleep. They were I need something to distract me every hour of every day.
Yeah.
Every minute.
Form. Yeah. Quibi was based on the idea, basically a subway ride. We're going to fill those brief moments. And so Quibi, strangely, I think, didn't go into small enough slices, because being on the toilet, 22, that's two number twos, in case you're wondering. But let me tell you about My Billionaire Husband Has Two Faces.
Please do.
Opening scene is some B-roll clip art of a giant mansion, cut to a posh, air quotes, well-dressed father and mother with a white background, looks like it's shot in a Orlando Airbnb. And then cut to attractive young girl who slops down a credit card statement and says, "Can I borrow $53,000?" And then they're, "What? No! How dare you come to us begging for money? You could do it if you marry so-and-so." And we're in. After that, it plays. It is hilariously telenovela-esque. But I was really impressed with how quickly it just became a puzzle. Same as playing Ace Attorney on your Nintendo DS or what have you. It's you're okay, there's this piece, that piece. And yes, all of the execution is not even journeyman. It's hilarious Playboy Channel level productions. But very quickly, you could see that the pieces are coming together, and they're going to hide things and then reveal things, and you're supposed to guess whether or not this person will react in a good or bad way. I could see totally getting sucked into it.
I like to look at these things and try to decide if they're actually new, which almost nothing is ever, or if they're not new, what is this now reviving, right? Because obviously we didn't have micro dramas prior to Quibi. I guess we had webisodes was the latest attempt at this, where you do short form things on the web. But the first thing that came to mind was serials in the movie theater. They were exactly the same format. Short for the time, 10, 15 minutes was ridiculously short back in the day, and always ending on a cliffhanger so that you'd want to come back to the theater next week to see what happened in the serial that played before the movie. I think this isn't taking away from regular television or movies or anything else. This is a form of content we've had for a long time, and weirdly, during the 70s, 80s, 90s, it didn't really have a place. You'd see it here and there, like maybe on a cable channel filling in some time before the top of the hour. HBO used to do that. In fact, Hardware Wars, a classic, I feel like fits into this slot. But now people have realized I have a small television in my pocket and I have the time to watch something that I will find passably entertaining about a billionaire husband. Why not? Let me watch. And it's ad supported. You don't have to pay for them sometimes you have to pay for them, but you don't usually. And then boom, boom, boom. There you go.
Well, and keep in mind that the way we are rolling our eyes and kind of chuckling, smirking at micro dramas, that is how everyone felt about those cliffhanger shorts, the serials. And it's only with time and nostalgia that, they end up being modeled for freaking Star Wars of all things.
Yeah, right. Exactly. People forget that George Lucas was looking at the Buck Rogers serials and saying, I want to recapture that feeling in a movie that I put in a feature theater that doesn't have a serial playing before it. But that's part of the reason that it is part 4 is because he had in his mind that this is like a mega serial. And that's what it ended up becoming, for good or ill.
So in this case, do we think this is a fad? Because I think we just tipped our own hand as far as our priors. I don't think that this is a total fad in terms of this format. Obviously, there's something archetypal to this, and it's the fact that, what do we say, Tom, once or twice before? Convenience trumps fidelity. This is low fidelity storytelling, but boy, is exactly 1 minute and 23 seconds fairly convenient.
Yeah, eventually we'll have to change that to convenience Rubio's fidelity or something. But for now, it's convenience Trump's fidelity. I wonder if this is the time when this format finally sticks and evolves. So if it sticks and becomes a thing that's just like, oh yeah, there's microdramas. It's a thing some people watch. A lot of people watch microdramas. You can always watch microdramas because once something sticks, it starts to evolve and become art. Movies were silly when they first came around. Well, go watch some old movies from the early 1900s. They were weird. They were goofy. They were shallow.
They were paid for by the KKK.
Yeah. They were getting used to the format. And then by the 20s, once they've been doing it for 20 years, they started to become art. But then the talkies came along and we had to get used to that. And then that became art. Television took a couple of decades, but suddenly television has now become art. And I feel like, I don't know how long it'll take microdramas to do it. Maybe at the speed of the internet, maybe not. But it would be interesting to understand, like, how do microdramas evolve from being like, yeah, it's a bunch of just semi-disposable love stories to like, the Drammy for best microdrama goes to My Pain and Solace, a wonderful telling of the story of Hermione. I don't know.
This is great. My Pain and Solace. Let me add that to my queue.
Yeah. Actually, let's produce that and pitch it as a microdrama. But yeah, I think this is fascinating to see a category that has existed but never caught, right? It never stuck. And maybe this is the time it sticks.
So keep in mind, anything that shows up long enough, like you mentioned, can become a beloved art form. And in the case of microdramas, first of all, they are so low stakes that there seems to be no aversion to AI slopification or AI generated video, which means everybody can roll their eyes at it and decide it's beneath even evaluation, which meanwhile, means subversive things can be told in that format because the stakes are so low, risks can happen. We see this with horror or genre fiction of all types in terms of social commentary. And then what'll happen is, I suspect, that microdramas will become increasingly specifically targeted. And at some point, people will click on one because of a particularly novel angle that is hyper specialized and targeted at. And the moment around, I don't know, episode 39 or whatever, somebody is like, oh, they feel something, then all of a sudden, that's where the word of mouth starts. That's when it becomes, oh my God, I know microdramas. I know, we all laugh at it. But just like we did with cartoons, just like we did with animated features, just like we did with blah, 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 blah. This is just like we did with comic books. How can the funny pages possibly be real art? And then suddenly The Walking Dead is out there and so on.
Yeah, I think another thing you said also gave me another idea, which you kind of touched on. It gives cover for generated content. Right now, it's risky to have any kind of generated item. You have to dance a very, very interesting dance. And Tilly Norwood's to the side, most movies and TV shows are not going to mess with AI in their content unless they have a very defensible reason for it. Well, it was just the production schedule. It was just the stills. Whereas microdramas don't care. People are like, yeah, it's disposable, it's throwaway. It's already slop. I don't care if it's AI slop. That is cover for people to experiment and come up with new ways of storytelling in a safe space where no one's going to care that they're doing it with an AI generated tool.
Well, and as somebody who has watched many episodes of My Billionaire Husband's Secret Lives, My Billionaire Husband Has Two Faces.
Has two faces.
I would imagine, like, it's sweet that they bothered to try to produce with actual physical cars and sets and locations and then cutting to B-roll or whatever. But weirdly, I bet this whole thing, press one button, make everything look like it was shot in 1962. Take all of those plot points, reskin the skeleton of everything, hyper-target it, tailor it to Tom and Brian, set it in 1991 in Austin. I mean, what is that? That just costs compute, and then just remap a bunch of plot points, set it, instead of being powerful with money, they're powerful with street cred in the music scene of Gen X times or whatever.
Yeah, there's some prompt engineering. There's some fine tuning of models. There's work that you would need to do to make that happen. But that's the kind of work that's getting easier and easier to do with every model release.
Yeah. Anyway, what this reminded me of is at one point, I think in my entire online career, the thing that sparked the biggest amount of negative comments backlash was me saying out loud the fairly obvious thing of, I wonder how long it'll be until AI makes you cry. And everyone's, it can never happen. I'm like, yep, it'll be, number one, it will happen. And number two, the first time it'll be through a microdrama.
Yeah. First reaction is fear. Second reaction is underestimation. Third reaction is acceptance. The train is coming right at me. Oh, wait, it's just a movie. Oh, these are stupid. Why do people waste their time watching flickering lights in a dark room? Oh, it's Oscar worthy. It's the best thing. You haven't seen this? You need to see it.
Yeah. People aren't respecting the movies enough. The moving picture shows.
Well, literally. Yeah. What they're really not respecting enough, Brian, is you and I.
Well, I mean, I think they respect us a lot. As a matter of fact, Ryan in Minneapolis was saying that he is a true blue patron, and we appreciate it. Ryan went to patreon.com/Cordkillers and signed up. He's the one that keeps us loud, live, and independent. And he'll be the first to hear how we're going to shake things up, because Patreon's going to make us shake everything up in terms of how we pay for all this stuff. So thank you very much to our patrons. Do me a favor, head on over to patreon.com/Cordkillers. Make sure, just give a trivial amount. You'll never notice it. And if anything, think about this. You ever write a reminder on a Post-it note and you put it on the refrigerator or something, and then you see it, you're like, oh, that's right, I got to see that thing. You may like the reminder to watch our episodes of Cordkillers, only a good place to hide it will be on your credit card statement. Every time you see that patreon.com/Cordkillers, you're like, that's right. I got to watch the latest episode of Cordkillers. Thank you.
And you get a little feeling of like, I helped make that episode.
Yeah.
They couldn't do it without me. It's right there on my credit card.
Or as Ryan in Minneapolis says, it's shake and bake. And he helped.
He helped shake so that we could bake. Patreon.com/Cordkillers. And now the search party. There is a lot of stuff came out of Comic-Con this weekend. One of them is a teaser trailer for Blade Runner 2099, which, if you're not so great at math, is 50 years after the events in Blade Runner 2049. It is a TV series, though, not a movie, coming to Prime Video on November 25th.
I don't know how I missed the fact that it's a TV series, because to be honest, the cinematography is good. They did a great job of recapturing some of those iconic set pieces, and it does sort of flicker between modern shooting sensibilities and classic Ridley Scott 1980s composition. I thought it looked pretty good. I'll be curious to see where they go. The marketing seems to indicate that this is where humans are in second place and there's a more overt war with the replicants. Maybe humans are pretending to be replicants. I don't know.
Yeah.
Would that be great? Like a Gattaca kind of thing.
Oh,
humans as second-class citizens.
Yeah. I feel like that's the logical place to go with this. One of the things that caught me in this trailer, it was Buster Friendly and his Friendly Friends, which is a Philip K. Dick character that didn't make it into Blade Runner.
Oh, that's right.
And I'm like,
it's them in the junk pile talking about Kipple in the original short story, right?
Right. Yeah. I was excited to see that, even if it's just a reference on the screen. That's good enough. You don't overdo it. But I liked that was in there. It struck me too that this is the first Blade Runner to be set in a year I probably won't be alive for.
Hold on, the singularity is near. I read Ray Kurzweil.
I keep hearing that.
He keeps being
right
about
everything. Moving a little further off every time I get near it.
At least the Shippothesis LLM of you will live to see it.
Yeah, right. Okay, fair enough.
Your replicant.
What Amazon likes to make cinema quality television shows. This seems to be an example of that. Another example, of course, is The Lord of the Rings of Power. And we got a teaser for that, season 3, where we're going to have the War of the Elves and Sauron, the one that is actually referenced in the Lord of the Rings movies. The Dark Lord seeks to craft the One Ring, the one to in the darkness bind them, all that stuff. And then as I was going, you know what? I'm actually back on board with this show. I caught up last year. I'm excited for season 3. They let loose that Simon Pegg has been cast to play the Balrog.
Yeah. So is that stunt casting, or do you think he has a really good Balrog voice?
Yes. I think the answer is Simon Pegg, I don't know whether he approached them or they approached him. Simon Pegg probably has a really good Balrog voice because he will be voicing Balrog, and Balrog cooperates with Sauron. That's canon. That's in the Tolkien stuff. But it's clearly stunt casting to say Simon Pegg is playing a Balrog because, man, that is not what I would have guessed.
Well, and also, I don't remember the Balrog having a lot of interesting dialogue.
I think it's one of those things where by the time we see it in the Lord of the Rings,
distorted.
It has festered and been changed and,
like
et cetera. Yeah, similar. So it's kind of clinging on. It's, one of those deep secrets buried in the dark that's best left alone. And when you've been left alone for a long time, you have a harder time talking to people.
Yeah, it's true. You got to get out and socialize. Look, man, the pandemic was
Balrog.
5 years ago.
Yeah. Coming November 11th, Universal. Coming November 11th is the Lord of the Rings of Power. Okay. Universal has signed a deal with Atari for the rights to make movies out of Asteroids, Adventure, Berserk, Breakout, Centipede, Crystal Castles, Millipede, Missile Command, Pong, and Yar's Revenge. This is all intended. They have the rights. They haven't started doing it yet, but it's all intended to be part of a shared universe.
Okay. All right. Tom, I would be so bought in if these were micro dramas and if they were AI generated micro dramas.
Maybe they need to be. They have the rights to make movies. They didn't say how long the movies have to be.
Set those expectations so low that I can't believe they're able to get me to somehow care about the Pong universe. Although I do have extremely high expectations of Yar's Revenge. Yar's Revenge is such a great name, such a simple mechanic. That better be next level. I don't know.
And adventure, I think, is the ripest one to turn into a story. There is, in fact, a story. It's very bare bones, but there is one. I used to play adventure every time I went to Kmart or Target or Venture because they'd have the Atari thing out, and that would be the game that you could play on.
All right, let's steel man this one.
All
Pong. Right. We're going to elevate it as much as we can. THX 1138 looking white backgrounds. Two elderly men standing erect left and right in the room, leaning forward, and maybe they just throw a tennis ball back and forth to each other as unbelievably acerbic dialogue. It's a chess match of stories that reveals their past together, and the entire thing is just somehow, I don't know, this is essentially like a one-act play. That is, in fact, it could be a one-act play. Why are they there?
Why are they forced to play this game? What is their story?
Oh, not even playing a game. Like, I just want to see the two of them, maybe like
is it a game?
I think it's just incredible dialogue. One winning, one losing. I don't know.
Yeah, there's a metaphor. They're throwing the ball, but the metaphor is that the actual game they're playing is the jabs that they give each other.
And we don't know if they're like in an afterlife.
You just want to be cast to do this with Justin, don't you?
Oh my God. Will you write it? Will you write it? We'll shoot it as a short movie. We could set it up at the sound stage and we'll just do it. That'd be amazing.
And we'll pitch it to Universal. Film. We got your Pong. Okay. We got your Pong movie. It's right here.
Love it.
It's way better than what I was thinking for Pong, which is a romance where the lovers are separated, and it would be called Pong Far.
Well, now you got me wondering if like you could set it like as adjacent to Marty Supreme in 1960s ping pong epic called Pong.
Yeah. You know, I mean, basically, we'll get to the Matchbox movie in a minute, but basically what they do today is they get the IP and then they just create a story, and they're like, and also centipedes are here. Like,
or oftentimes there's a lot of spec scripts floating around Hollywood that you just, a little Control F, find and replace.
Yeah, for sure. Tom Holland is rehearsing to dance in the upcoming Fred Astaire biopic. Apparently Holland used to dance. He used to dance on stage. Hasn't done it in a long time, but he's back in the rehearsal and very excited to become Fred Astaire. Do you know much about Fred Astaire? My mom was a huge Fred Astaire fan, so I know more than I think the average person might.
I know that his love for vacuums survived even in the afterlife.
That's, yes.
Wow,
well, I didn't even know that it survived in the afterlife. 3 people
on the planet are nodding with a bemused grin.
Yeah. And Ginger Rogers was his, I don't know who's cast as Ginger Rogers in this, but somebody has to be. Fred and Ginger.
I'll bet Tom Holland delivers. I think that he'll surprise.
I hope they show Fred Astaire voicing the guy from the Claymation Christmas specials and like what that was like. He's like, I was a dancer. Now I'm just voicing Claymation people. Speaking of Clay, we got a trailer for Clayface from DC coming in October 23rd. It's kind of a body horror take.
I liked this trailer much more than the first one. The first one seemed to be kind of a press release of like, what if DC but horror? And then in this case, they're all like, no, but there would actually be a story in there. And you could kind of tell that they act as though the chief conflict is between the surgeon who he doesn't like, but really between the lines, a lot of those dialogue things are very clearly talking about hating on Hollywood. And I'm like, ooh, I'm here for hating on Hollywood.
Yeah. Quite a different take than the Clayface and Harley Quinn, I'm sad to say, but possibly better. Yeah. Maybe they'll bring him in.
Oh, I would love that.
We also got a Comic-Con panel for the new Spaceballs.
Hold on.
Joking.
Sorry. The kid Clayface has to learn. Oh, you got Clayface powers now. You must learn from the old master. Welcome. Let me teach you your skills. Oh, I've been killed. Sorry.
Oh no. Anyway, on to the Spaceballs panel, which funny joke. Showed off a timeline of the Spaceballs universe with lots of phases. Go look at it. If you're a Marvel fan, you'll laugh. Even if you're not a Marvel fan, you might laugh. There's some good stuff in there. But also, Josh Gad says that this movie is actually intended to be a love letter to John Candy. Josh Gad will be playing the Wookiee knockoff, but not the same character as John Candy. And so I imagine there's going to be a lot of allusions to Candy's character. It's called Spaceballs, the new one, and it comes out April 23rd, 2027.
What are the odds? What's the over under on whether or not they make some kind of dogs not living as long as humans bit?
Oh, 97% chance, I think.
Yeah.
In fact, I think it was in this Deadline article that they pointed out that Spaceballs and actually Mel Brooks in general fills his movies with the worst jokes and the best jokes that you've ever heard, and just plays Pong
Yep.
back and forth between those.
He knows that you'll remember the hits and forget the misses.
Exactly. As I mentioned, Matchbox trailer for the Matchbox movie about Matchbox cars. John Cena, Jessica Biel, Sam Richardson, all starring. They showed the trailer at Comic-Con. It has almost nothing to do with Matchbox cars, but it does have cars and spies, and it looks like it's a halfway decent action movie. And occasionally they reminisce about playing with Matchbox cars when they were kids. Coming to Apple TV October 9th.
Yeah, we'll see.
I mean, this is the kind of movie that I think I might or might not like no matter what. And then they just slapped Matchbox on it, which makes more people go like, oh, Matchbox. I remember those. I was a Matchbox kid. I was not a Hot Wheels kid. What about you?
I was a neither kid, but I do
yeah?
think I
you
had
eschewed small
Matchbox.
cars.
Yeah, I almost certainly had Matchbox. I have a greater affinity for that logo.
Hulu will put out 3 extended special episodes of Futurama after season 14. So instead of pretending to cancel it and then making them do special episodes, Hulu, smartly, is just like, yeah, we're just going to do special episodes. The first will be a Christmas-themed episode coming out in 2027. They also put out the trailer for season 14, which premieres Monday, August 3rd, with 2 new episodes, and then they'll release 1 a week after that.
Man, I look forward to sitting and watching them and finding out whether or not Futurama is still good. I bet it probably is.
I consider Futurama like a really good bath.
Go on.
I don't remember them. I can't tell you a story about my favorite hot bath, but I know I enjoy them. And whenever I sit in them, I seem to find it to be pleasant. And that's how I feel about Futurama. I've watched all the Hulu episodes of Futurama. I have a pleasant feeling related to every episode I've watched. I couldn't tell you a single thing about any of the episodes.
Yeah. Yeah. It's similar to I guess I'm chasing the Mel Brooks thread where it's like, the moments I do remember of Futurama were those knock 'em out of the park moments, like the dogs.
Yeah, honestly, I wonder if some of it is I used to talk to people about Futurama episodes after they aired, and I don't now.
Yeah.
Bob's Burgers is going to release on the 4th day of Christmas a holiday short premiering exclusively on Disney Plus. And Hulu in the US, which is, intertwined with Disney Plus, and obviously coming out during the holiday season.
Yeah. It's interesting to me that this is being marketed in the middle of July or being press released or announced. Or
I think it's a Comic-Con. They know a lot of Bob's Burgers fans are at Comic-Con. So they're like, hey, you might want to get that Hulu subscription if you haven't got it all. Yeah. Because they've done this with The Simpsons. I think they've done it with Family Guy, maybe. But they've done this with other properties, mostly animated properties. We also learned that Ryan Gosling has been cast as supernatural horror hero Johnny Blaze, a.k.a. Ghost Rider, in the Ghost Rider Marvel movie. It will be directed by Sean Levy, who did Deadpool and Wolverine. Plan is to get it all going and release it in 2028.
Yeah, that'll be interesting. Ryan Gosling.
That's the most damning thing Brian can say. If he hates something, it's better than if he goes, yeah.
Well,
that
okay.
sounds interesting.
Just all of Marvel's kind of on emotional probation at the moment. I saw a headline or two saying that they're kind of still trying to find the movie in Doomsday in the editing after the marketing engine has started. I don't know if there's anything to that or not, but I know there's a lot of bloat and a lot of and also like weirdly Nicolas Cage rubbed his stank all over that role. And I didn't even see the movie. I didn't even know how to feel. Like Ryan Gosling, his stock is up because Project Hail Mary was so very, very good. And I thought he did a great job on the Barbie movie. And so I don't know. Yeah. That's what
I think it is quite telling that there was an Avengers trailer showed at Comic-Con exclusively in Hall H. It was not released publicly, and it's not in the lineup because I didn't find that many things to talk about from it. Didn't seem like it really set people a-buzzing.
Yeah.
Finally, Netflix is trying to get serious about live, especially live sports. We had reports that they might try to get World Cups in the future. They obviously have the NFL. They're making inroads into Major League Baseball, but that doesn't mean they're forgetting their roots in ginned up live events, like getting he's teen dart champion and prodigy Luke Littler has challenged anyone to beat him at darts. There will be an entire qualification throughout the month of October to become the person who gets to try to beat Luke Littler, and then a one-off live event will stream on Netflix on October 30th.
Tom, how do you think I feel about this?
That'll be interesting to watch.
No, I want Netflix to put on a giant old-timey stovepipe hat. I need a cane and a traveling medicine show stage. I want to see every kind of crazy ginned up anything. We are in the Wild West, people. I want you to go nuts with live. Like, here's the one thing we don't know is what's gonna happen. Go. I love it.
Yeah. Hot dogs, darts.
Yep.
Keep it coming, Netflix. Love it. I agree. Shall we then move on to the buried treasure?
Indeed, sir.
Most people want to know why they suddenly got rich.
Buried treasure.
This is the section of the show where we talk about something we've watched that you might want to add to your to-watch list. Brian, what you got?
You know what? I wish I had more to report. We continue to plow through the pit, although, I keep picking up barnacles. In the beginning, Brian was watching the pit because he could watch it without any obligations. Then Josie comes nosing around and suddenly it's like, you watched it without me. I'm like, okay, fine. Then the two of us, nimble, like a two-person duo team. Suddenly Penny's like, wait a minute, you didn't, who's this guy? And so now I'm stuck on the conveyor belt. We'll probably watch it again tonight. The pit, turns out it's pretty good. I did want to give a shout out. If you haven't seen the Mr. Jumbo music video, do yourself a favor and just go see the Mr. Jumbo music video. Do you know about this, Tom?
No, I don't.
Yeah. You remember Paul Simon's Graceland album, lauded at the time for its NPR sweater-wearing, red wine drinking, liberal progressiveness, and then the backlash against it for being obviously colonist appropriation of indigenous music. Anyway, imagine all your feelings about how good the music is and about was it progressive or not progressive and blah, blah, blah. All of that wrapped up in a great 3-minute style parody. Go watch Mr. Jumbo. That's it.
Okay. I was against it till you said parody, and then I was 100% for it.
Great. Also, it's a bop.
Awesome.
It's been stuck in my head for 3 days.
Okay. Yeah. Fantastic. Thanks for letting me know about that. Star Trek Strange New Worlds is back, and it's great, Brian.
Oh,
Get in.
I can't.
Don't let anyone know you're watching it. Don't pick up any barnacles. Make this Brian's special little treat.
And I don't need to get caught up on the back ones. I could just jump in.
I think you'll want to get caught up in the back ones if you like this, but you don't need to. Star Trek Strange New Worlds is got the most wonderful balance of there's an ongoing storyline. In fact, how could there not be when you've got Christopher Pike and any Star Trek fan knows what's going to happen to him in the end. Mm-hmm. So that's seeded throughout. There's a couple other storylines that are seeded throughout as well. But every episode is a Monster of the Week adventure. It is a storyline with a beginning, middle, and end. And this one starts with that most wonderful of Star Trek beginnings. Now, you guys, I know you want a more adventurous mission, but we're just on an observation of this stellar phenomena. And we got to not get too close, because it is a somewhat dangerous phenomena, but there's no reason to get too close. And we're doing amazing science here. As soon as that started, I'm like, oh, I can't wait to see how this goes horribly wrong. And guess what? It not only goes horribly wrong, but it involves time travel and dinosaurs.
Yes.
So please watch Star Trek Strange New Worlds.
The only thing I didn't hear that I expected from the original series-esque episode is Satan. Just tell me the devil shows up too.
Not in this episode, but who knows in future ones. Now, I thought about going to see the Odyssey, and then I got tired and the time it was showing at, and it's showing at incredibly convenient times, meant that I didn't leave my house to go see it. But you know who did? Our producer, Amos, thankfully went to see what is the hottest movie in the world right now. Amos, what'd you think?
I loved it.
Now you saw it in 4D.
Thanks, Amos. That's all.
Yeah. Did you see it in like 70 millimeter full film IMAX, digital IMAX, shaky vision IMAX?
It was the 4D, so I like the very large screen, but it wasn't the surround screen. But it did have the shaky seats, the water that splashed on you when they were going through the seas, and
for reals,
the flashing lights.
Is that not distracting?
The wind. No, it helps enhance the experience.
Wow.
So it's not a lot of water then. It's just enough to give you the atmosphere. Okay.
There was one person that came in there with like a poncho, and I'm not mad at him.
But that did kind of telegraph. Yeah. Either there was going to be water or Gallagher was about to take the stage.
Did they have a watermelon?
I know.
Yeah, man. So you loved it. How familiar are you with the Odyssey? Is it something you've ever read, or?
I mean, I read the excerpts required in high school. We didn't read the whole thing, or we didn't read the whole Iliad or whatever. But I'm familiar enough with it that I didn't get lost in the story. It did not seem like it was 3 hours. It certainly was 3 hours. We left and it was like, oh, that was actually felt pretty quick. It's very action packed. In a 3 hour movie, the run speed has 4 times that you can go, and all of them are like 2.5 to 3 minutes. Like if you're gonna go and get back. I thought it was great. I thought all the acting was great. I thought the direction was beautiful. It's a great movie, and to have that many stars there, you think. At least in my opinion, when you have that many A-listers in one movie, someone's going to try to steal the spotlight, and it's not going to feel, it's going to be a Brad Pitt movie. It's not going to be a everybody movie. Everyone in this movie that has a big name had a part that they played exceptionally well, and it felt very well balanced.
That's great. That's great.
Yeah.
I look forward to seeing it. Maybe it'll turn into something.
What is it? It's
from the 4D aspect. Would I watch it again in 4D? No. Was I'm glad I watched it the first time? Yes. You're not going to miss a whole lot, but it was more of an experience. Just like Project Hail Mary, which I saw in the same theater, the feeling of floating through some of the space scenes, things like that, you're not going to be able to get that at home, which is why I want to go to the theater to get the experience I can't get at the house.
So you want to see this in the theater too? what everyone says.
I would want to see
Sounds
this
like
in 4D. Yeah.
Yeah.
It made the experience worthwhile. The extra ticket price had the experience that I expected for the extra ticket price.
Well, excellent. Amos, thank you for going on that journey for us.
Yeah.
I
All right.
Spat in the eye by the seat in front of me.
If you got something we should be on the lookout for, please do email us, cordkillers@gmail.com. However, my next word was going to be Brian. What do you got going on these days?
Man, I am gearing up for conference season. I'm about to head out to Vegas, and I got a conference I'm speaking at in Portland. So I'll tell you what, if you're in the Portland area or going to be in Las Vegas, why don't you hit me up, Brian@schwood.com. Just say, hey, I'm there. Let's do a meetup. That'd be fun.
Yeah, sounds wonderful. Let's move on to scan the horizon.
Send a scanning to avoid.
Scanning the horizon!
Comcast had its earnings, which means for this show, how many people does Peacock have? Peacock has 48 million subscribers, turned profitable for the first time as well. That is something that was not a foregone conclusion, so that's good. Of course, they had the FIFA World Cup, they had the NBA playoffs, they had Love Island USA, became a huge hit. Those were all key drivers. We also got ad revenue from YouTube. YouTube ad revenue increased 13% in the second quarter year over year. That helped drive a lot of revenue for Google in general. But the reason I ran those two together is that NBC Universal and YouTube just announced that Peacock will be available on YouTube Premium. That's right, YouTube Premium. We're not adding Peacock to YouTube TV, although it will continue to have NBC's programming. We're adding Peacock to the regular YouTube. If you pay for the version that gets rid of the ads and lets you download content and listen offline and all that stuff, you're just going to get Peacock's live sports, Bravo shows in YouTube. YouTube Premium will start to carry Peacock sometime in early 2027, so it's not going to happen right away. But Brian, I think this is a huge coup for both of them, and something I've been waiting for YouTube to start becoming, which is like, hey, we really should just be the place where you watch all your television.
Well, and it certainly doesn't hurt that the algorithm is essentially psychic and it knows you by your interest, your demographics, what you linger on a bit too much. Now, that's the kind of thing cable likes to regard itself as a distribution platform where, in theory, it's your stage, it's your microphone. YouTube Premium, the curated algorithm-driven experience is a fundamentally different thing. So I understand anybody who's hesitant, who feels like it's a deprecation of their status to be on that platform in that way, which makes it feel like a fit to me. I don't know.
I wonder how they're going to integrate it. It's smart for YouTube to get in this because Comcast and Cox and all the rest have been adding these services to cable as a way to save cable. And YouTube can crush them if they become the place where, like, hey, just pay us one monthly fee and you get Peacock. Because if I didn't make it clear, you don't have to pay extra to add Peacock. You will just be getting Peacock if you're a YouTube Premium subscriber. And I wonder how that fits. Which would you rather have? Let me ask you this. Would you rather have Peacock shows just show up in your algorithm alongside everything else if it fits what it thinks you would like to watch? Or would you rather have it segregated into an algorithmically selected row of Peacock stuff, but separate from the rest of YouTube?
I don't care for the idea of Peacock getting its own row, but I could see a special row reserved for prestige, bigger than YouTube things. Like, I don't know if they even give it a name other than YouTube, but then again, that would be very un-YouTubey to yield to yield that status.
I'm trying to think. I've seen things like movies or NBA. At one point, I had a free subscription to NBA that was attached to my YouTube Premium. I've seen those show up on my Apple TV, but I can't remember how they showed up. They didn't show up in the top row. I know that.
Yeah.
But I think they showed up in like other things you might like. And so maybe that's where Peacock shows up, or, currently live.
Well, as a matter of fact, the currently live thing is, I think, the angle, because I went live or I went on YouTube Sunday, and I was confused to see a Paramount Plus thing live saying the words Avatar Aang. I'm like, what is that? And I clicked on it, and Avatar Aang is a feature-length movie that is brand new, just came out. It takes place after the events of Avatar: The Last Airbender. And I thought, I don't know what they're doing, but this is a thing where a prestige over-the-top television station is showing up on my YouTubes.
Yeah. And some of these like bigger companies have been streaming free videos on their YouTube channels, but this is the first time we'll get something as wide-ranging as NBC Universal's entire catalog, both live and on demand, available on YouTube.
Yeah.
Speaking of Paramount, Paramount has agreed not to close its acquisition of Warner Brothers until at least 5 days have passed after its current trial in the U.S., or June 1st, 2027. If the trial drags on to June 1st, 2027, they can go ahead and start closing it. A trial date is not expected to be set for several months, and this avoids the need for an injunction. They basically agreed, like, you know what, let's not go through a whole injunction trial. We'll just stipulate, yes, we won't close until the trial is done, and we'll put a long deadline. If it's still June and when the trial isn't done, then we get to close. And then everybody agreed, that we'll have it done by June 1st, 2027. And if you don't close until the main trial is done, then we're all agreed. But it does mean that Paramount Warner Brothers is more in peril than it has ever been.
Yeah. Well, and I don't know, like the fact that they're acknowledging, like, who knows, you may blow it up in our faces. That's fine. Can we just go? Can we just stop talking, start moving?
I think it basically said, we know we're going to lose the injunction. So we think it'll be faster if we just jumped to the trial versus having to go through a whole trial for the injunction. Meanwhile, the European Union has approved the merger. They just said, look, as long as you end your business relationship with Universal, which is not an essential relationship to the working of Paramount, then they're like, great. Yeah, we, the European Union, are fine with this merger.
So if you're going to place a bet, a gentleman's wager for even money, you assume this is going through or no?
I think this has gone from a 75% chance of going through to a 54% chance of going through.
Oh, really? Wow.
I think it's still more likely than not that it goes through. But if they decided, like, we're going to lose the injunction, if the judge is saying, you know what, doesn't look like you're going to win, which they did in the restraining order, I think it loses this case. Now, if it loses this case, it will immediately appeal, but it's going to start racking up cost. Because remember, in September, they start having to pay extra for delaying this. They were so sure they were going to get regulatory approval that they agreed to pay extra if it lasts past September. And so I think there's becoming a bigger chance that it falls apart somehow. But the fact that the EU has approved it, the fact that the UK has only said, we might look into it, makes me think that there's still a better than not chance that this finishes.
So what happens if the whole thing crumbles? It's not like Netflix. Does Netflix come back?
I mean, they could.
For pennies on the dollar at that point.
Netflix's stock holders may not like that. That would be the break on that. But I think Warner Brothers would be fine with it. They'd be like, yeah, okay, you so that didn't work out. You still want us? Like,
Warner Brothers is like, you guys don't understand. Did you see Joker 2? Come on, somebody buy us, help.
Maybe NBC Universal is a better fit now that it's about to be spun out of Comcast.
Maybe patreon.com/Warner Brothers.
Help us build up a fund.
Yeah.
Sony Pictures Entertainment will reopen the Cinerama Dome in Los Angeles. This is a beloved place in Los Angeles. It's a wonderful place to see good old-fashioned 70mm films. They are going to renovate it, and there is an ArcLight theater that I've seen many a movie at, that of course ArcLight is not around anymore, that will reopen as an Alamo Drafthouse. So Sony's going to run the Cinerama Dome, and Alamo Drafthouse is going to run the attached ArcLight theaters, which are also nice theaters, just not with the heritage of the big Cinerama Dome. And thanks to Jeff Rooney for the email about this.
Yeah.
Finally, Roku. Well, no, not quite finally. Penultimately, Roku is raising prices of its streaming devices. The streaming stick goes from $30 to $40, the stick plus from $40 to $60, the stick 4K from $50 to $80, the Roku Ultra from $100 to $150, and the Streambar SE from $100 to $150. This has to do with parts, Brian. They're building so many data centers these days that RAM and storage and everything else is more expensive to get.
I'll tell you what, man, we actually, our sponsor, Doghouse Systems, sponsor of the Mono Rogue channel, had to change the deal that you get when you use promo code Rogue because it was an SSD, and they're all like, now, you, I believe, have had the same experience as me, Tom, which is technology always gets cheaper, right? Right?
Mm-hmm.
Not anymore,
Usually.
man. It's crazy times.
Yeah. There have been exceptions to that rule where for a while, video cards were more expensive because they were in demand by Bitcoin miners and such. And there've been RAM shortages in the past as well. During the early days of the smartphone boom, when smartphones really took off, capacity took a while to catch up. And usually, what happens is after a bit of a crest, it then falls again. But man, this is a much steeper curve than I have ever seen in my lifetime.
Yeah, and one quick side jag, and then we'll rope it back in. There was one article that I read claiming that we were overbuilding compute and that LLMs were going to get good enough and that we would have too much free compute. And I'm like, look, for that to be true, humans have to not learn how to increase their appetite. And we just talked about how you could reskin every micro drama individually targeted all over again. And I think we're going to come up with reasons to want more compute.
That's like saying, people don't need that much bandwidth. What are you going to use all that bandwidth for? Which for a while was true. That's why there's so much dark fiber, is that companies were like, actually, I don't know what people are using the bandwidth for. But eventually we figured out what to use the bandwidth for. And now we're lighting up fiber like crazy. And ISPs have gone back to being ISPs. So yeah, you can overbuild, but not permanently. You will eventually find uses for that stuff.
Yeah.
Finally, Toy Story 5 has crossed the 1 billion mark, becoming the highest grossing movie of the year. The film earned $448 million domestically, $573 million internationally, for a global tally of $1.022 billion. Third movie of the year to cross the billion mark. Super Mario Galaxy Movie, 1.001. Michael, the Michael Jackson story, 1.001. And the fourth movie will be The Odyssey because it's already at like 600 million.
That's what I was about to ask.
Don't expect Toy Story to hold this title for much longer.
Yeah. So knowing that, man, Tom, blockbusters are back. Like this is the first summer movie blockbuster season this decade. We are at 2026.
Sequels.
No, look, all I care about is getting back to our summer movie draft.
Super Mario Galaxy, Toy Story 5, The Odyssey, the sequel to the Iliad.
Whoops.
All right. Please hold for the chatter.
You got mail.
Nikki M. wrote, I really can't remember if I heard of this show from you guys or not. Normally, I remember if it's a Tom or Brian recommendation. For the life of me, I can't remember. Anyway, the show is The Ark. An intergalactic spaceship finds itself damaged with most of the command gone due to the incident that woke everyone from cryostasis. Their mission, to get to their new planet with little food, 2 weeks worth of water, and half the manpower of the need. This is one of those the Earth is dying, so we go to the great beyond type stories. Has a vibe of Voyager with its tendency to rely on duct tape and prayers. There's also an us versus them political vibe with a human race on the verge of collapse. The first two seasons I found on Plex, maybe Tubi or Roku. The new season starts on July 29th. So if you have access to Syfy, Please watch all the episodes so that it keeps having more seasons, because this show is awesome.
Tom,
Nikki.
I don't think it was from us at all. Have you seen this? Do you
I
know
don't remember
anything
it.
about it?
Yeah.
What struck me about this email is I'm so thankful that number one, people are writing us, cordkillers@gmail.com, but these personal recommendations have greater weight than at any point in the past. We used to 10 years ago marvel that the robots could make pretty good guesses for us, and now it's like, of course they can make guesses. Robots are better at everything. I want something interesting. I want a personal recommendation. So thank you for this.
Yeah, thank you, Nikki. Daniel in Minneapolis writes, I'm intrigued by Brian's thought that one day in the near future, we will have a robot who will automatically sign us up for streaming services. When I subscribe to a streaming service, it is usually for sporting events that last multiple weeks and that I can't get everything over the air antenna TV for. Things like the World Cup, Tour de France, the Olympics. I sign up for the month or two that I need them and then cancel the service once the event is over. To expand on Brian's thought, it would be great to have a robot go out and automatically subscribe the day these sporting events start and cancel the subscription when they end. I only needed Peacock for 1 month for the Tour de France, for instance. The robot signs me up, then cancels it before the month is up, so I don't get charged for a second month that I don't need. All with me just telling the robot, sign me up for Peacock when the Tour de France begins and cancel Peacock when it ends. I find this all interesting and how we will use technology in the future to help us watch what we want when we want on whatever device we want. Love the show. Keep up the great work, Daniel.
Yeah.
In fact, I don't even want to have to say Peacock or sign me up. Just say like, I want to watch Tour de France and I don't want to pay extra.
Yep.
I don't want to pay any more than I need to. And in fact, you probably will get a robot eventually that you won't even need to say that. It'll just know you like Tour de France.
A few 30 seconds of Galaxy Brain, Brian. So what happens is first the robot does a great job, and then just like all good help, it has to be corrupted. Somebody has to slip a $20 bill to say, okay, look, next time you ask for a big sporting event, don't do it through this service or whatever. Do it through my service, and then take your time and we'll get a kickback and all that stuff. We are in the warm glow before our helpful AI agents become corrupted and become paid for, bought and paid for. You can't find good help anymore. That's the thing we're going to say 3 years from now.
Yeah, exactly. Oh man, why can't there be some open weight model that just lets me do what I want, when I want, where I want?
LLM killers. Yeah.
Toby wrote in last week to say that they could watch Rick and Morty on HBO and had a question about Tracked. And we thanked Toby for both of those. And Toby wrote back, thanking us. Said, thank you for answering the question on that episode. I appreciate you. First, I hope that I can shed some light on the Rick and Morty situation. To the best of my knowledge, there is a new episode drop every Monday. That is how I am watching it currently. The part that is different is that they're releasing a new one to HBO. Last week was episode 6, Erickerhead, and I will watch 7 on Monday. The rest of the episodes are available for purchase. I might spend the $2.99 for the last one. I may not, but that is the way it seems to work. So it isn't the typical, like, here's the season as it comes out. It's a day later, and then other episodes have to be bought. The release of new episodes is just the slow rolling back of the paywall, probably to see at what point people will actually pull the trigger. Now the follow-up. I did download the recommended app you suggested, TVST, and the syncing was good. I had previously synced my TV time data to Tracked. When I tried that app and the syncing worked for the most part, and I did the premium for 1 month to sync history, still no TV time. But my question is, why don't you just use the Tracked app for your shows? I downloaded and synced the TVST, and it seems very similar. I'm now down to using 2, TVST and Tracked. I was trying out 3 or 4 different ones as test runs for a replacement to start with. I think my real question lies in what you said about using Tracked adjacent apps, but not Tracked itself. What are the advantages or disadvantages? And thank you so much for your time. No worries, Toby. I tried the Tracked app when the last app I was using went away. And I was like, well, maybe I'll just use Tracked. I didn't love its interface for showing you what's new. It's not bad, and it's all the information is there. It's just the interface wasn't showing it to me in the way I was used to. I was used to, like, here are all the current episodes you haven't watched from the currently running episodes, and here are episodes to come below that. And Tracked had a different way of arranging that. So I think I switched to TVST because I was like stuck in my ways and used to using it the way my old app worked, and TVST was very close to that. Whereas Tracked just had a different visual language. If you're not running into that problem with Tracked, I think the Tracked app's fine. I think it's great. And I'd say go for it. It's just a matter of like, I got used to using it in a particular way, and the Tracked app wasn't arranged that way. That's all.
Can I ask for a reminder, and partly because the entire meta has shifted? I know 15 years ago that you would want to track things so that you could know what's out and where you were and all that stuff. But nowadays that we got so many digital breadcrumbs on everything, is it a little bit of sort of completionism? Is it like a satisfying kind of Zen thing to do to track all of that?
I imagine that's a part of why I like doing it, is just having the record. When we do the Killies every year, I definitely go into TVST and be like, what did I watch this year? So it's helpful for that. But mostly it's to keep track of what is on. Like TVST will often be the place where I realize, oh, Star Trek Strange New Worlds is back. Sometimes Apple TV's app will show me that, but it's not 100%, especially stuff on Netflix doesn't show up on the Apple TV app. So TVST will always have like, hey, this is coming out. Also, it gives me like coming back soon. So I remind myself, oh, right, Silo's coming back soon, which it's now out. Actually there was one that I can't remember, and this is an exact use case for this. Right. Futurama. I just mentioned it earlier in the show, August 3rd, Ted Lasso, August 3rd. So there's a little bit of that too. And also there are shows that Eileen and I watch together. And a lot of times we're like, wait, what was the last episode we watched? And there are a few apps like Viki that aren't great at really letting you for sure know. Like sometimes they get it wrong what your most previous episode was. So this is another double check on that.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Well, that's it, folks. Our website is cordkillers.com. Our email address is cordkillers@gmail.com. And we are live at twitch.tv/Night Attack and youtube.com/modernrogue Tuesdays at 5:30 p.m. Eastern and 2:30 p.m. Pacific. I reckon we'll talk to you next time.
Diamond Club hopes you have enjoyed this program.
Yes, sir. She's a big girl.
So the short reason to do that is because I messed up Slatch and then it becomes a bit.
Oh, yeah.
The long-term reason is someday I'll have a stroke and people are like, oh, he's always done that.
Yeah. Yeah. No, that tracks.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Do we want to roll straight into it, or?
I'm good rolling straight into
let's roll straight into it.
The flow experience.
Yeah, the flow. That's right. Okay, are you ready? And we're gonna get started in. Hold on, they'll do this, and then we'll go.
Welcome to the Flow Experience. I'm Tom Merritt, and this is the show where we watch the first, lowest, ultimate, last of a television show in order to find out if just watching those 4 episodes, you can get a sense of what the entire episode was about. This week, we are in the second week of our watch of Remington Steele with the lowest episode, Scene Stealers, Season 2, Episode 8. I'm Tom Merritt. He's Brian Brushwood.
Tom, we're not doing like a Black Mirror Sideways universe thing here, because it sounded like you said flow experience.
Yeah, that's right. The flow experience. First, lowest, ultimate, as we've always done. We watch the first, the lowest, the ultimate, and the last.
Oh, well, okay. Maybe, I don't know if I skipped timelines. Maybe I didn't get on the subway in time and I'm in an alternate reality.
Yes. sliding doors. You sliding doors this. Quite possible. Because the only other explanation, Brian, is that somehow I made a mistake in our spreadsheet and I put the lowest rated episode where the ultimate would go, and the ultimate episode where the lowest would go. And of course, as we know, that's a ridiculous thought. It's much more likely that the show has always been called the Flow Experience.
Well, Tom, if you were to mix things up and accidentally create our first and only Flow Experience, I would imagine that it would be pretty weird to watch Remington Steele's lowest rated episode thinking that this was the pinnacle of the show's excellence.
Probably the only thing more surprising than finding out that we've messed up the order was that I never thought of that the entire time I was watching Scene
You just
Stealer.
thought the show was really bad.
I was like, it was a different time. People valued different things back then. Maybe people really like this actor thing or the commercial stuff. I was coming up with all kinds of, I wasn't even really thinking that hard about it. I was just like, yeah, I don't know that I find this to be the ultimate, but I've had that opinion before. But now that I know it's the lowest, makes way more sense.
Yeah. I'm very thankful that I went in knowing that it was the lowest, because then whenever we watch the lowest rated episode, I love playing the game of why is it? And I think in this case, I think that everybody just had a bitter taste in their mouth because the answer was whackety schmackety crazy lady answer. And it was not
Matey with the knife. Really, honestly, my note is Matey with the knife lost me. I was hanging on. I was like, there's some interesting bits here. There's some interesting conceits. It is a very different tone. It is kind of, I think, funny that she has to pretend Steele is real in the early part when he's distracted. She's like, no, he'll be here. It's like, oh, it's like the pilot episode. I did think Remington's yellow suit made him look like a sportscaster. But once we got to Whackety Schmacketyville, the whole thing fell right apart. And then the climbing the mountain with the snow, it was like they just went full cheese finally.
Yeah, which you can do if you layer real stakes on it. Like that could work wonderfully to do whackety smackety and then all of a sudden and they almost did with him being a washout, has been alcoholic and to be honest, I thought they were getting real and interesting for the brief moment when there was that one actress who was a child actor who Hollywood trashed up, and now she's working craft services. That's the lady with the knife later, though, right? Like, yeah, it does set up a complex storyline that then got wackety. Exactly. Like I thought that was really interesting because those whackety exactity, those I met out on the show I did. There was somebody who was a recognizable child actor from a movie, and he was just working the show. And it's like, I don't know. I think that there was real interesting stuff. But of course, in 1982, this is not a time of pulling back the curtain for Hollywood still. Although, go on.
I was going to say, I think they actually, that's not the reason it fell apart. It feels like they just decided but then we'll make an allusion to Psycho. And it's like, yeah, the key to Psycho was that the son was dressed up like the dead mother.
Yeah.
Not that the former child actress was dressed up like the slightly younger, still living actress.
Yeah,
who is also a woman.
The tritest thing of girl who didn't make it is jealous, crazily jealous of girl who is making it. Although
and then suddenly just unloading I should probably be committed, or Mady should, but I'm not her. And it was like, wow, and we're dumping a bunch of exposition now too. Cool.
Yeah, I thought it was interesting that they didn't resolve the plot point of how Carol Marcus makes it back to SETI Alpha 6 in order to work on the Genesis project.
Yes. My last note is the snow was silly. That's the last thing I had to say about this episode. It really did feel like I was just well, checking it off the list. 42 minutes long. At least it didn't take too much out of my day. I guess the other interesting things about this in the full experience sense are that Remington and I'm blanking on Stephanie Zimbalist's name, but
The main character.
Laura, Remington and Laura are. We're not Sam and Dianing this. They're together.
Yeah,
they have a relationship,
and we're
and that is a part of the plot where he's like, "Oh, don't let the fires die. If you let work get in the way, your relationship fumbles." And then the ending is actually kind of poignant. Has nothing to do with the rest of the plot, but he has this wonderful candlelit dinner for her. Ha ha ha. It's the Frozen dinner from the commercials because we had to get a little wackety at the end. But I was like, oh, that's an interesting development in their relationship that I would not have expected to be resolved this early. But it sounds like it's not resolved. They decided, very interestingly, not to make will they, won't they, but will they stay? Will the work get in the way of the relationship?
It is really strange that 8th episode of season 2, we're already into bored marital doldrums. Like, come on, man, treat your woman right. Oh, that's right. I am in love with her.
We also got a new secretary. Remember, the secretary from the pilot was closer to Stephanie Zimbalist's age. The great Doris Roberts plays Mildred, the secretary. Probably Doris is best known for Everybody Loves Raymond.
Of
probably.
course. That's where I've seen her.
But this was my first introduction to her. And then the great Frances Bay as Mother Trust. Again, kind of silly, not entirely necessary, but really fun. A really fun little interlude where you get this grizzled old veteran of the frozen food wars trying to knife Gaston in the back. I kind of like that little scene.
Yeah, that scene also had what I suspect is one of the strong points of Remington Steele, which is the cutting off and pretending to blend in, where it's like, I'm the attorney, and we saw that in the very first pilot episode. I'll be curious if we see it in the next two as well.
He is still a con man.
Yeah.
I actually don't know if Amos was able to watch this one or not, or whether he saw our messages and realized it's the wrong one. I'm not going to waste my time on it. Amos, did you watch it?
Your second guess was correct.
Okay.
I had a chance. My wife had a procedure this morning. I was going to watch the show during that time, and seeing you guys go back and forth and having only my iPad and not being able to get into the Google Doc and do the research, I was like, you know what? They sound like they got this craziness covered. I'm not going to bother. And
fantastic. All right.
I'm glad they didn't.
Yeah. So that means Amos is going to be doing the Fool experience. F-U-L. No lull.
Yeah, just like football. The Fool experience. Well, we do have a bit of a conundrum. The next episode in the Flow experience will, of course, be the ultimate episode, Beg, Borrow, or Steal, season 4, episode 20. However, Beg, Borrow, or Steal is only available with a a Hallmark streaming subscription.
Wait, I can't just buy it? I've been buying all these.
You can't buy season 4. It is only available on streaming, which is one of the reasons that I was like, should I try to watch it today? Because I'm going to use my 7-day free trial on the Hallmark Channel, and I'm going to have to watch it immediately. I can't subscribe and then, wait more than 7 days. The even more tricky problem is it turns out that season 5 was not a traditional season. They had canceled Remington Steele in season 4, but then Pierce Brosnan got cast as James Bond. And so they exercised their right to do a few made-for-TV movies that they packaged together as season 5. That's why there's only 6 episodes of season 5, because there were 3 made-for-TV movies.
So we have to figure out what we're going to
parts
declare.
1 and 2.
Yeah.
I think it's easy enough to declare Steeled with a Kiss parts 1 and 2 as the last episode. It's listed as episode 505 and 506. They both aired at the same time, February 17th, 1987, except you can't watch season 5 in the United States right now because there are different rights associated with the made-for-TV movie than there are with the rest of the series.
Wow. Yeah. I was about to claim that you were mistaken, Tom, but sure enough, it says no longer available in your region on Prime Video. Ooh, here's an interesting conundrum. I wonder if one could hop on a tunneling device and leave the country to see it.
I will literally be leaving the country tomorrow and report back.
This will be great. We have breaking news. That's amazing.
Now, if I'm only able to watch it in the next week when I'm out of the country, does it become the flu experience?
The international travel. That's great.
Or do I just let Brian know which region of his VPN he used? Either way works. But yeah, if anyone else knows how to watch Steeled with a Kiss legally, parts 1 and 2, feedback or cordkillers@gmail.com. I did find a questionable Russian site that has it for streaming.
That usually ends
Your
well.
mileage. Yeah. Your mileage may vary on whether it will pwn your device or not. So there you go. That is Scene Stealers, Season 2, Episode 8, first aired November 15th, 1983. The lowest rated episode of Remington Steele. I guess the happy accident here is that we will be watching these in order. If we followed the correct procedure, we would have gone Season 4, Episode 20, then back to Season 2, Episode 8.
I'm curious
so we're getting them in
if when we go forward, because by Season 4, it wouldn't surprise me if we're back to a will they, won't they, in sort of the vein of Sam and Diane.
Like they've broken up, but they have to keep working together kind of situation. Yeah. That will be interesting to see. You get these episodes early. If you're a patron, you also get to hear us talk about how we're going to decide what to watch and when to watch and all that stuff. And maybe a little more on how to figure out how to watch these things. That is in the After Talk episodes, available only to patrons of patreon.com/Cordkillers. We'll see you next time on the Floll Experience.
Yeah. Oh, weird. Am I on this?
Are you?
Can you hear me?
You're there. I see you.
My monitor just died. That was really
no.
weird. Okay.
Very convenient timing.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
What a moment. I thought I did a thing to cause that. That's crazy. All right.
Hello, everybody.
Well, we're going to
And
do
goodbye.
the patron only
Bye,
talk. Bye. Bye, guys.